Hi guys, White Warlock here. As you can see, this is like a different scene because today in this video I will talk about the spoilers, the one that are currently available. Right now I'm on Lorcana slash g .gg slash Shimmering Skies, and as far as I know, these are all the most recent spoilers. I have not seen one before that's not on this website. If there is, let me know and I can talk about that in a later video or in like a small extra addition video to this one if it's really important, like let's say a giant legendary card, for example. So I'll be going through every single card that's on the website. I'm pretty sure it's like half of the set is now released, approximately half. And yeah, I'll talk about every card a little bit, mostly from constructed. However, some might have like draft or sealed implications that are interesting if you're going to play a pre-release. So, well, the first card is actually the first card of the set, which is Coda. So it's a 2 ink, 2/1 quest for 2, which is not great for a 2 drop, right? You can just play 2/1 2 that draw that quest for 2, which is probably better, which like the Yellow LeFou or like any other card, right? There are enough cards now that quest for multiple lore in this color that you don't need this. The ability is says that during your opponent's turns you can't lose lore, which is right now is just not relevant at all. However, in a future meta it might be. So I think this is like a card that gets better in the future and is currently not very useful. So this next one is Rut, which is a 4 ink 3/4 that quests for 1 and has support. This is just basically a yeah, it's basically a vanilla card that does yeah nothing. Support is good in limited, in my opinion, very good. However, it right now it is very bad in constructed, and it should not be like the one thing while you're playing the card. The only like exception is Alice, but that's because she grants support to literally every card in your deck, like every card on the battlefield. And Rut only has support himself, and that's just not good enough. And the stats are horrible. And the quest for 1, which is also not good, especially not in this color. And then we have Kenai, which is a 1/4 for 2 that quests for 1, and its ability says that when it's exerted, your character's named Coda can't be challenged. So basically, it's a bodyguard, but only for Coda, and that's bad because bodyguards is better. Bodyguards for everything. Um, and right now, Coda is not good, and since this is the only Coda, you don't need to protect it anyways. So yeah, not amazing. And the 1/4 stat line is bad, and the 1 quest is not great in these colors. I think you rather just want to play Vanessa. All right, so Vanellope von Sweets is a 1 ink 2/2, so this is like a goon, right? This is only relevant to play if you have a shift target you really want. Otherwise, you never play it, obviously. Then you have Chuk, which is a 4 ink 4/4 that quests for 1. This is a vanilla card. Vanilla cards are bad in constructed, so yeah, it's a okay card in limited, I guess, because the stats are fine. But otherwise, and even then, like in limited, you probably want a 4/5 or 5/4 for 4. Then we go to the first Thorn cards. So I have them here. I have those here. This is a 2/2 for 2, which is not good, and it quests for 1, which is also not great. But it says whenever this character quests, chosen opponent's character gains -1 strength until the start of your next turn. So this is fine in limited. Even then, it's probably not good because a 2/2 for 2 in limited is not great. However, in constructed, this effect is just not good enough for its body and its cost. So you don't really need that cost or that effect, and yeah, it's not worth a bad body for 2 ink. Then you have a Fixed Felix, which is a 2/4 for 3 that goes for 1 and bodyguard. This is basically Simba, but it costs 1 more and only has 1 more defense or willpower, and that's just not good enough. I guess you could use it for the shift, which is Fix-It Felix Jr. and Iceland Stewart, which is a 4/5 or 5, also bad stats. And Quest for One, which is also not great. It has the shift on this one, but it says your location gets +2 willpower. That could be interesting in a full locations deck. However, the stats are really bad again, and the shift target at the moment is not good enough. So I don't think it's great as a shift. Maybe if like the location deck is really good and you really need that extra 2 ink for, or sorry, extra 2 willpower for the like for Maui's in the meta or something, then maybe you can like fix it. But yeah, I don't know. It's a yeah, I don't particularly like it, but maybe this is like maybe the other cards were all no's. This is like a maybe. Then Kristoff is very interesting. It's a 3/7 for 9. It's uninkable, which hurts, but it quests for 3. And its ability is for each song card in your discard, you pay 1 less to play this card, to play this character, and it has bodyguard. So this is basically Chernobog, but more defensive and for songs instead of characters, and it doesn't shuffle the songs back, which you know is good if you have multiple. So like Kristoff is better in multiples than Chernobog would be. However, right now, even in the song deck, getting that many songs in your discard is not that easy. However, once like you get going, it gets quite much cheaper, and because it doesn't shuffle them back in, it has a lot more potential. Obviously, the uninkables is a bit of a problem, so it kind of depends on how many uninkables the deck can run, or how little amount of uninkables it can run to be able to fit Kristoff. But I think it's interesting. However, it obviously dies to Medusa, which will be a big problem, especially in a meta with Pete, which we'll talk about at the end of this video. So maybe it's good, maybe it's not, but right now probably meh, I would say. But this one might have potential. So then we go to currently for now the best card we've seen so far, which is Daisy Duck Donald's Date, which is a 1/4 for 1, very good stats, and it quests for 2, which is insane. And it says whenever this character quests, each opponent reveals the top card of the deck. If it's a character card, they may put it into the hand. Otherwise, they put it on the bottom of their deck. So they have to put it on the bottom, even if they want to keep it, if it's not a character. So that's always fun. However, this card is insane, and I know it reads as if every time this character quests, your opponent draws a card, but that's not always the case. Especially if songs become more of a thing, like and even in red purple, like 15 cards are maybe like 15 or even more cards are not characters, so the chance that they get a character is not 100%, right? It's maybe like 70 in the most heavy character based decks that also play non-characters. So 70% of the time they draw a card when you quest with this. However, you can quest like 2 or 3 times with this before it dies because the 4 defense, as long as you continue playing other characters, obviously, and continue playing threats they have to deal with or songs to kill their characters. And Goblin Guide, if you guys played Magic, is a really good card, even though it allows your opponents to draw a card. Obviously, with Goblin Guide, it's only if they draw land, and in decks like in Modern, for example, where Goblin Guide is played, that's like a 1 in 3 chance if you haven't had any lands before, obviously. So that's a lot lower than it is for Daisy Duck, but Daisy Duck can quest for 2, and that's more important than dealing the 2 damage it is in Magic. So I would say that Daisy Duck is really good and will definitely be a 4-off in every aggro deck that plays yellow, and in my opinion, every yellow deck should play. Every aggro deck is probably yellow as well in this new meta, but we'll see. So we have another Fix-It Felix Jr., which is a 1/3 for 2, so it's a little bit of a better shift target than the Bodyguard was. However, it only quests for 1, and a 1/3 for 1, 1/3 1 that for 2 is not that great. However, it's like its ability is whenever you play its character, when you play its character, if you have a location, play draw a card. That's okay in a location heavy deck. However, obviously, most of the time you don't have a location on turn one, which is when you need a location so you can play fixed features on turn two. So that's a bit of a problem. So this would only see play in like heavy aggro location decks, and even then it's not that great because it doesn't give that aggro extra reach because it only quests for one and it only has one attack and only three defense, so it doesn't really offer any threats itself. So that's a bit of a problem. So yeah, the the quality of this card really depends on the meta and if there's a possibility of a location-based deck that can play like 8 or well actually more than like you need 10 or like 12 locations that are going to be played on turn one, which is very unlikely. So that's a bit of a problem. So I don't think it's that good, but we'll see. Then we have Alan A. Dale, which is 2/3 that quests for 2. So this card is insane because it says whenever you play a song, gain 1 lore, and that's actually really good. I think Amber Steel will be quite big in set 5, um, unless Pete, which again we will talk about later, which can be very impressive card against that deck, will be very popular. And this card gives it a lot more reach. It's like a flute on a stick, and flute on a stick is very good because it quests for 2, which is also important, and it's like a lightning rod. Um, and yeah, like if you let's say you play this and then you have like a Cinderella and an Ariel, you play 2 removal spells, you sing 2 removal actions or songs with the area and Cinderella, you immediately gain 2 lore as well. So it's really good. I think it's really good. Definitely a 4 of in Ember Steel. Yeah, really good card. Maybe not as good as Daisy Duck, but they are definitely on the same like the same same wavelength. Like these are the two cards that are the best at the moment, and it's not even close. Right, we have another one, a 7, an Inkable, oof, but it's a 6/7 for 2, so that's reasonable stats. It's still not great, but okay. And it says whenever you play this character, return a character card from your discard to your hand. If that card is a princess character card, gain 2 lore. So I think this could see some play in Mufasa, because your most important character in Mufasa, except for Mufasa itself, and even then, it might still just be Rapunzel, and Rapunzel is obviously a princess. Rapunzel is very important because it allows you to draw cards in that deck, because normally it doesn't draw any cards. So Wreck-It Ralph might be able to get back those Rapunzels and give you 2 lore. So that's interesting. Obviously, the 7 Uninkable is a very big problem. So it might still not be good enough. However, that deck doesn't run that many Uninkables anyways. So sometimes it can fit. Uh, so it might be able to fit the Wreck-It Ralph. So it might be played in that deck. Otherwise, probably not. Unless there's like a princess deck that wants to use Wreck-It Ralph as like a finisher, like an extra goat, or for example, like a late game goat. Then we have Swen, which is a 3/3 that quests for 2, and it says whenever you play this character, you may already chosen character. They can't quest or challenge for the rest of this turn. So this would be like in a, I guess, green-blue item list. If you have like the Queen and you play, like you activate Queen and then you ink something and then you play Swen to untap Queen and activate it again. That would be like a use for it, like a 4-cost LeFou instead of a 2-cost LeFou. But yeah, I would much rather play LeFou. So if you were able to play red, I would probably play red. And then you also have effects like shield. So I think I would rather play those. However, you can maybe use it as like a protection card for your questing spells. So maybe it's good enough, but yeah, I don't think so. I think it's not good, but it might have some uses if it finds a place in a combo deck, for example, or with the queen or something. But right now, I think the queen item deck should be red and not yellow, so I don't think you can play it in that. And otherwise, the effect on a 4-drop, you'd much rather have it on a lower drop like Kulafu and just play red, but we'll see. So we have another foreign card. It's French, and it's a Minnie Mouse. It's a 4-drop 1/5 that quests for 2, and it says whenever this character quests, you remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. So removing damage in Rokana is not good because in constructed, at least in limited, it's a lot better, but in constructed it's quite bad because you don't really see that much when that you have damage lying around on your characters. Mostly, if they're quest, they die immediately or they survive and they don't get attacked at all because the crackback of you attacking their characters is too big of a risk. So at the moment, damage is not good enough, damage removal is not good enough, and a 1-5 for 4 that quest for 2 is definitely not good enough, not even close. So Try Everything is the next card, which is a song for 4 that says remove up to 3 damage and from chosen character and ready them. They can't quest or change for the rest of the turn. This card is absolute trash. Yeah, as I said, remove damage is bad, and ready something for 4 ink again is just way too much. And even if it's a song, no, just just no. Don't play this in limited, right? Limited, you just want characters, and no, this card is bad. Then we have another foreign card. In English, it would be invited to the ball, and it's an inkable action, and it says reveal the top 2 cards of your deck, but reveal character cards into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This card is insanely good for Mufasa. Holy shit! You just play this 4 off in Mufasa, maybe 1 or 2 extra actions, and that's about it. And normally it's just a 2 ink, draw 2 cards, even if it's uninkable, that's okay. As I said, Mufasa doesn't really play that many uninkables, so amazing. In non-Mufasa decks, it's a lot worse, obviously, because it's an inkable card that might only draw 1 card, and you're not playing a cantrip for 2 that's uninkable. But yeah, it has it has very good uses. So I would say this card is really good in the Mufasa deck, and you would definitely play 4 off. In my opinion, like amazing card. I would definitely play it. Obviously, in other decks, it's probably a no. Then we have another item. We have an item, 2 cost inkable, healing decanter, and it says tap, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. Again, we don't care about removing damage. Pabi combo is just not a thing, and if you want to Pabi combo, you want to do it in red, so you can do it without your opponent having to damage your characters or having exerted characters, so you can attack them and hopefully survive and then remove the damage. So yeah, just doing that alone on an item is just not good enough. It doesn't matter how much it removes, even if it's set tap, remove up to 9 damage or something, still probably not good enough. So yeah, that's a no. Then we have another item, another 2 cost, and this time it's a rare. It says at the start of your turn, if you have a princess or queen character in play, gain 1 lore. Interesting. And you can exert it and pay 2 ink to reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a princess or a princess or queen character, you may put it into your hand. Otherwise, it remains on the top of your deck. So, in like a princess or queen focused deck, this card is probably pretty good. Otherwise, it's probably pretty bad. Basically, yeah. uh, so yeah, I guess I guess that's it. I can't really say more. Like it gives some reach to princess or queen decks. Ember Steel is right now plays a lot of princesses and sometimes also plays the queen. So that's like one of the only non-princesses except for Robin Hood. But yeah, probably you probably don't want this in the deck anyways. But otherwise, maybe in a Moana focus deck with princesses or something in yellow plus something else. But otherwise, I would probably not play it. Then second to last Ember card revealed for now is Ember Chromicon, Jesus. And it says exert, remove up to 1 damage from each of your characters. Boo! Bad. Okay, yeah, as we said, remove damage is just not good enough. Even if it says from each one of your characters. So this is actually interesting with Pabi. Again, it's not red. If this was red, it would or blue, it would have been much better with Pabi, obviously, because you can then play it with red. So you can have your own damaged characters. So yeah, that kind of sucks. And then the final Ember card is Rapunzel's Tower, which has characters get +3 willpower. Well, here and well, their NA is on the. I want to see the cost of the card because it's 2. Okay, it costs 2. All right. So yeah, 2 cost location that doesn't gain lore is bad, but it has 8 defense and it gives 3 willpower or defense to your characters while they're here. And the enter cost is only 1, which is not too bad. but I would say that it is not good enough for now because you have because it doesn't gain lore, and I think in yellow you need a location that gains lore. However, this might change, obviously, if a more mid-range deck comes along in yellow that actually can use the 3 willpower, then maybe you can use this location as well. However, at the moment, I don't really see a use for it, but it definitely has some promise, especially maybe in later sets. All right, I decided during the making of this video that I will split up the video for every single color, as we're already at 20 minutes. So yeah, I'll just end the video here and then continue a little bit later to discuss the other cards of the other colors, so that you can easily switch between the colors if you only want to see this one or this one, and for example steel, you can only watch this one and a steel one, so that might be easier for you. So I'll upload the next video in this short series, uh, almost immediately after this one. So you have like a you can watch them back to back. That would be the best, right? So yeah, I'll make that video later, and you'll see that coming up on the YouTube very soon as you've watched this video. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you soon.